My name's Garret. I know most of you. But if I don't, we should meet. Okay, so I think I have a pretty tough task here in trying to introduce Sarah because her writing itself seems to want to talk about almost everything. So you have to wonder how you talk about her writing. And now I'm going to try. Her work is a kind of encyclopedia from another dimension, a tome for a reality which appears unlike ours, but manages access through affect. Sarah's writing takes the unreal and the unfamiliar and renders it recognizable and applicable, in turns funny, haunting, and sincere. Her work is kind of like an anamorph. Specifically, it's kind of like that middle stage of the morphing anamorph. If you're familiar with like the book covers, you know, when the anamorph like really isn't entirely human or animal, it's more like that 90s computer-generated hybrid mismatch thing. So Sarah's texts, likewise, are constantly in flux. They're a shifting gradient, able to assume multiple forms simultaneously. Her current project, or at least the most recent one we've seen, I'm not even sure she knows how many projects she actually has in the works at any given time. It's a book-length work which disguises itself as academic in nature, but is plagued by infiltrations of narrative fiction. Or maybe it's the other way around. That's what Sarah's writing does best. It exists and flickers and catches light somewhere between the real and the unreal, the mythic and the scientific. Her book is structured as a pseudo-biography of the Russian-American photographer Roman Vishniac, but it can't help but be invaded by the lives and psychologies of the two individuals conducting the research. Vishniak's study operates as a kind of, his study meaning his physical lab study area. I realize now that that could have been confusing otherwise. So this physical space operates as a kind of central hub for the hybrid text, an archaeological site from which artifact objects are excavated such that they might generate narrative. So I have a Kathy Acker quote here that I think is like pretty ridiculously relevant. It's from Don Quixote. And we're just going to pretend that her reference here is to Sarah's Vishniac. So his study looks like a room in a Renaissance painting, where a room is both a microcosm of the whole world and reflects endless numbers of microcosms, for there is no other reality than anthropomorphism. Here's, perhaps finally, a reflective microcosm not just for the current book project, but for Sarah's work as a whole. Art which constantly seeks to redefine the boundaries of the page or the image, to push through and out the other side, more an art object than an artwork, which carves out its own space in which to operate. I'm happy to introduce an awesome writer and a good friend, Sarah Roth.